Castles and fortresses traditionally become centers of mystical stories and legends, and this is not coincidental. Their ancientness, grandeur, and gloomy atmosphere create ideal conditions for the emergence of tales that are passed down from generation to generation. Majestic walls, built of stone, are capable of evoking feelings of respect and fear. The architecture of castles with dark corridors, hidden dungeons, and high towers creates a mysterious space where stories about ghosts and supernatural phenomena can originate. Psychologically, such architecture affects a person, causing them to experience mixed feelings, from admiration to anxiety. Every corner of a castle can hide secrets, and every shadow can seem alive. Gloomy corridors, where the footsteps of ancestors once echoed, and abandoned halls, where grand feasts once took place, serve as a backdrop for numerous rumors and legends. Historical tragedies that occurred in castles, whether executions, imprisonment, or wars, become the basis for numerous mystical tales. In such places, where people faced death, suffering, and loss, a special energy is absorbed, and this energy, as a rule, attracts the attention of modern adventurers and lovers of the mystical. Castles where terrible events once took place become a source of inspiration for writers and filmmakers who create new stories based on old legends. For example, in castles, stories are often told about ghosts who are said to be the spirits of those who once lived there and did not find peace. Rumors that strange sounds can be heard or shadows seen in castles are often based on real events, but over time they accumulate myths and exaggerations. These stories are passed from mouth to mouth, and each time they accumulate new details. People visiting castles begin to feel a connection to the past, and this arouses in them the desire to learn more. Furthermore, castle dungeons, where prisoners were once held, remain symbols of fear and oppression, as well as places where terrible events could have occurred. For instance, such dungeons could have been the site of tortures or the imprisonment of the innocent. Such places attract the attention of paranormal researchers who try to record unexplained sounds or see manifestations of ghosts. Castles and fortresses often serve as places where different historical epochs intersect, and this multi-layered time creates a special atmosphere that fosters the emergence of myths. In such places, one can feel the breath of history, and it is precisely the ability of castles to hold within themselves numerous secrets and stories that makes them ideal for creating mystical tales. The combination of architectural might and tragic histories forms a unique aura that attracts both researchers and ordinary tourists, and each of them can see and hear something of their own. Castles amaze with their size and details. For example, the thickness of the walls can reach several meters, and the height of the towers can be dozens of meters. This creates ideal conditions for the emergence of legends about the presence of spirits in these places. Finally, castle architecture, from Gothic to Renaissance styles, creates a visual aesthetic that is capable of inspiring the creation of mystical stories on its own. Many castles, such as those built in the Middle Ages, exude an atmosphere of mystery that attracts both researchers and romantics who wish to immerse themselves in a world where reality intersects with myth. Archaeological finds in such places, such as remnants of old items or documents confirming tragic events, only intensify the interest in these stories. Castle legends do not merely produce a shocking impression. They are an important part of cultural heritage, linking the past and present through the prism of human emotions and experiences. Château de Chambord, located in the picturesque region of the Loire Valley, is not just an architectural masterpiece, but a whole history that has absorbed the spirit of royal hunts and legends of ghosts. Built on the order of King Francis I in the 16th century, this castle became a symbol of Renaissance architecture, with its unique composition of 13 separate buildings and 18 kilometers of walls. The castle is impressive in its scale. The height of its towers reaches more than 40 meters, and the number of rooms exceeds 300. Notably, Chambord was designed with a unique system of staircases consisting of two spiral structures, allowing two people to ascend and descend simultaneously without meeting. In this castle, King Francis I conducted hunts for wild animals, and it is here, according to legends, that ghosts began to appear after his death. The Count de Chambord, one of the most famous owners of the castle, was also a mysterious figure. In the 18th century, he returned from exile and attempted to restore his rights to the French throne, becoming a symbol of legitimism. His quest for power and romantic ideas about the restoration of monarchy led to the castle becoming a centre of political intrigue and rumours. It is said that the ghost of the Count de Chambord still wanders the castle's corridors, guarding his domains and awaiting his hour. Many witnesses claim to have seen his figure in the night shadows, and the sounds of hunting that echo from the forest are associated with his spirit. For many years, the castle has attracted not only tourists, but also researchers of paranormal phenomena. For example, in 2003, a group of ghost hunters conducted a night investigation of the castle and recorded strange sounds and cold spots, adding more mysteries to its history. Additionally, Chambord houses rare artifacts related to hunting, such as antique rifles and trophies, making it a true museum of hunting culture. Every year, various events dedicated to hunting take place here, where one can see traditional costumes and weapons. The castle has become a meeting place for all history enthusiasts and those who want to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of royal hunts. Its unique architecture, rich history, and mystical legends make Chambord not only a tourist attraction, but also an important cultural heritage of France. The castle was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1981, confirming its significance in world history. The high vaults and elegant carvings on the walls continue to awe architects and historians. With each passing year, the castle attracts more visitors eager to learn about its secrets and legends. The ghosts of Chambord live in historical tales and continue to inspire artists, writers, and filmmakers, creating images that penetrate the consciousness of people. 80 kilometers from Paris, the castle has become a symbol of French monarchy and the Renaissance, preserving the spirit of the time and memories of the great hunts of kings. Despite this, Chambord remains not just a monument, but a living participant in cultural life, where historical reconstructions and festivals immerse visitors in the atmosphere of that era. The castle's internal halls contain numerous stories about kings, their love affairs, and political ambitions, making it a true treasure trove of French history. One of the most famous halls is the Hunting Hall, decorated with magnificent frescoes and tapestries depicting moments of hunting wild beasts. Château de Chambord, with its ghosts and hunting history, continues to be a mystery and a place where reality and myth intersect. Spišský Castle, located in the east of Slovakia, is one of the largest and most impressive fortresses in Central Europe. Built in the 13th century, it became a significant strategic point and a symbol of power. In the middle of the 15th century, the castle was transferred to the ownership of Barbara Zapolska, a princess who found herself at the center of a tragic history. Born in 1434 into an aristocratic family, she was the daughter of Polish King Vladislav II. After the death of her husband, Hungarian King Ladislaus I, Barbara faced numerous difficulties. Her life became a true tragedy when she lost her children and found herself entangled in political intrigues. In Spišský Castle, she experienced not only the bitterness of loss, but also constant pressure from influential nobility who sought to use her status for their own purposes. The castle, with its strong walls and powerful towers, became not only her home, but also a prison, symbolizing her isolation and suffering. In 1483, Barbara was forced to leave her lands and seek refuge in distant Bohemia. Her life in the castle was filled with solitude, and she often walked through its deserted corridors, reflecting on lost happiness. Spišský Castle, which once symbolized her power, became a place of her sorrow and losses. Despite her tragic fate, Barbara left behind a legacy that continues to attract the attention of historians and tourists. The castle, with its unique architecture in Gothic and Renaissance styles, was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1993. Its walls hold numerous secrets and legends that come to life in stories about Barbara Zapolska's life. Inside the castle, artifacts such as antique furniture and household items have been preserved, providing insight into how the nobility lived in the Middle Ages. Restored halls and fortress walls attract thousands of tourists eager to touch history. Each year, various cultural events, including night tournaments and historical festivals, are held here, allowing visitors to delve deeper into the lives of medieval people. The castle has also become a center for scientific research on archaeology and medieval history, making it an important hub for studying this period. Spišský Castle remains one of the most visited places in Slovakia, and its magnificent walls continue to impress with their size and atmosphere. The castle's height reaches 130 meters above sea level, and it covers an area of approximately 32,000 square meters. From its towers, one can enjoy breathtaking views of the surrounding landscapes, making it a unique place for photography and romantic walks. It is also worth noting that guided tours are conducted in the castle, during which the history, architecture, and, of course, the fate of Barbara Zapolska are told. Her tragic story, woven into the history of the castle, continues to stir the hearts of people, and each visitor to Spišský Castle can feel this atmosphere, filled with passion and loss. The castle has become not only a monument of architecture, but also a symbol of human passions that do not leave this historical corner of Slovakia. Edinburgh Castle, situated on a rock of the same name, is one of the most significant historical landmarks of Scotland. Built in the 12th century, the castle served as a symbol of royal power and military might. One of the notable events in its history is the story of Lady Janet Douglas, who became a victim of political intrigue in the early 16th century. Janet, daughter of Lord Lauderdale, was married to Sir James Douglas, who, according to rumours, was in secret alliance with French knights against King James IV. In 1517, after an unsuccessful attempt to rebel against the crown, Janet was accused of witchcraft and treason. King James IV, taking advantage of her vulnerable position, ordered her arrest. She spent several months in Edinburgh Castle, where she was subjected to torture and interrogations. She was eventually executed in 1518, which caused widespread outrage. Although she was declared guilty of witchcraft, many contemporaries considered her a victim of political manipulation and persecution. Against this backdrop, Edinburgh Castle became a place where not only military actions but also political intrigues, characteristic of the time, took place. The castle, located on the summit of a volcanic rock, has strategic significance as it controls the approaches to the city. Inside the castle are the royal apartments, where Scottish kings lived, and St. Margaret's Chapel, built in the 12th century. These structures are striking examples of medieval architecture. Every year, Edinburgh Castle attracts millions of tourists who can see the famous Mons Meg cannon, which fires every day at 1 o'clock. The castle is also home to the Scottish royal regalia, including the crown, sceptre, and sword, which were used in the coronation of Scottish monarchs. In the 18th century, Edinburgh Castle became the scene of military conflicts, including the siege in 1639, when it was captured by parliamentary troops. During this period, Janet Douglas became a symbol of the struggle for justice, and her name became synonymous with those who opposed the tyranny of the crown. In the present day, her story interests historians and tourists who strive to understand the complex political and social relations of the time. Edinburgh Castle has become not only a symbol of Scottish identity, but also a monument to the complex and often tragic history of the country. The events related to Janet Douglas reflect the deep contradictions of Scottish history, including the struggle for power, betrayal, and victims. Having survived for centuries, the castle continues to be an important object of study for Scottish history, cultural heritage, and political struggle. Every summer, various events take place in the castle, including the famous Edinburgh Festival, which attracts artists and spectators from all over the world. Janet Douglas could have become a significant figure in Scottish history if not for the tragic circumstances of her life. The castle preserves many artefacts that tell her story and the time in which she lived. Currently, Edinburgh Castle is one of the main tourist attractions of Scotland, annually welcoming more than 2 million visitors. Stirling Castle, situated on a rocky hill in the centre of Scotland, is one of the most famous historical fortresses in the country. Its walls hold many secrets and legends. Built in the 12th century, it became a crucial strategic point controlling key routes between the north and south of Scotland. The castle has witnessed numerous historical events, including the coronation of King James V in 1439. Over the centuries, battles, sieges, and even betrayals have taken place here, making the castle one of the most haunted places in the country. Among the many legends associated with the fortress, the stories of ghosts stand out. One of the most famous ghosts is a soldier in pink, who is said to appear in the most unexpected places, often in dark corners and on the castle's staircases. The legend states that this ghost is the spirit of a soldier who died in battle during the Scottish Wars of Independence in the 14th century. Both locals and tourists have reported seeing him, and many claim to feel a cold wind when he passes by. His distinctive pink form is believed to be a reflection of the military uniform of the time, as soldiers often wore bright clothing to stand out on the battlefield. Another well-known ghost is a lady in green, who is believed to be the spirit of a woman connected to the castle. According to one version, she was the lover of a Scottish lord who was killed due to betrayal. Her appearance is often accompanied by a sense of sadness and longing, and those who have seen her say that her eyes are filled with tears. The legends of ghosts attract many tourists, and many tours of the castle include stories about encounters with these spiritual inhabitants. Stirling Castle is not only rich in history, but also in mysteries. In 1988, during restoration work, fragments of ancient walls were discovered, which are believed to belong to an earlier period of the castle's existence. Research shows that the fortress was significantly expanded in the 16th century under the direction of architect John Douglas. The internal rooms of the castle, such as the royal apartments and the royal hall, have preserved decorative elements characteristic of that era, including carved stone decorations and old tapestries. The royal hall hosted important gatherings and celebrations, and its walls probably heard whispers of conspiracies and oaths of loyalty. The castle also houses artifacts related to Scottish culture, including traditional costumes and weapons. Local residents are proud of their historical heritage and often organise various events to draw attention to the castle and its ghosts. In 1994, a museum was opened in the castle, showcasing a collection of historical exhibits, including weapons and armour used in Scottish wars. Among the interesting facts about Stirling Castle is that it was one of the first fortresses to use firearms. Bullet marks can still be seen on its walls, dating back to the time when the fortress was protected from attacks. With each passing year, the castle attracts more tourists, and its ghosts become part of this tourist magnet. People come not only for its historical value, but also to experience the atmosphere of mystery and the supernatural. Some claim to feel the presence of ghosts, while others even take photographs in the hope of capturing something otherworldly. Stirling Castle continues to be an important symbol of Scottish identity and heritage, and its ghosts are an integral part of this historic place. Turku Castle, located in the city of Turku, is one of the most significant historical fortresses in Finland. It was founded at the end of the 13th century, and its construction began in 1283. The castle served not only as a defensive structure, but also as a residence for Swedish kings and an administrative centre. Initially, it was built on an island, but over time, the water level changed, and the castle ended up on land. Its magnificent walls, made of local granite, reached a thickness of up to 3 meters, making it one of the strongest buildings of its time. Throughout its history, the castle was rebuilt and expanded several times, reflecting changes in architectural styles and military needs. In the 16th century, the castle became a major political centre when Katarina Monsdotter, the third wife of King Gustav the Survasa, took up residence here. Born in 1498, she played a key role in Swedish history, contributing to the unification of the country and strengthening central power. Katarina was not only the king's wife, but also an active political figure who participated in the management of the kingdom. In Turku Castle, she received foreign envoys and participated in important political negotiations, underscoring her influence on the events of the time. The castle also witnessed many significant historical events, including the Swedish-Russian War of the 17th century, when it was used as a base for Swedish troops. In the 17th century, the castle was expanded, and new buildings such as a chapel and royal family living quarters were added. In the 18th century, the castle was partially destroyed by fire, but its restoration began immediately after the incident. In the 19th century, the castle became a museum, and in 1907, a museum dedicated to the history of Finland was opened here. Inside the castle, many items from various historical periods have been preserved, including medieval armour, antique furniture, and paintings that tell the story of life in this unique place. In 2006, Turku Castle was included in the list of Finnish cultural objects of national importance. Today, the castle is one of the main tourist attractions in Finland, attracting thousands of visitors each year. They can walk through the old corridors, visit exhibitions, and learn more about life in the medieval society. An important fact is that the castle not only serves as a tourist destination, but also actively participates in the cultural life of the country, hosting various events, festivals, and exhibitions that are dedicated to both historical and contemporary themes. For example, during the summer months, there are night tournaments and theatrical performances that immerse viewers in the atmosphere of the Middle Ages. Turku Castle, with its rich history and architectural features, is not only a monument of the past, but also a living cultural centre that continues to inspire and attract attention. Pelish Castle, located in the Carpathians, was built in the 19th century at the order of Romanian King Carol I. Construction began in 1866 and continued until 1930, when the castle took its final form. The castle's architecture combines elements of Neo-Renaissance and Neo-Gothic, making it one of the most beautiful castles in Europe. It was designed as a summer residence for the royal family, and its interior is renowned for its opulence and variety of styles. Here, one can find furniture in the Rococo style, exquisite stained glass windows, and artistic ceilings. One of the most notable figures associated with the castle is Queen Maria of Romania, who was responsible for its furnishing and decoration. She was the granddaughter of Queen Victoria and actively participated in Romanian cultural life. Queen Maria, known for her artistic talents, also created a unique garden at the castle, filled with exotic plants and sculptures. In 1910, she initiated significant changes in the interior, adding artistic elements that reflected her personal preferences. The castle became a venue for important state events and cultural events, including art exhibitions and music concerts. In the first half of the 20th century, the castle was used as the royal family's residence, but after the monarchy was abolished in 1946, it was nationalized. In the following decades, the castle fell into disrepair, but in the 1990s, restoration work began. Pelish Castle was included in the list of historical monuments of Romania and became accessible to tourists. Each year, thousands of people visit the castle to see its magnificent halls and unique art collections. Inside the castle, there are more than 130 rooms, each with its own unique atmosphere and style. Among the exhibits are collections of weapons, antique furniture, and works of art, including paintings by famous artists. The castle is also famous for its library, which contains more than 10,000 books, many of which are rare editions. Outside the castle, there is a picturesque park stretching over more than 100 hectares, with fountains, pavilions, and alleys perfect for walks. Restoration work on the castle continues, and the Romanian authorities are actively working to promote it as a cultural and tourist attraction. Interest in the castle has significantly increased, and it has become a symbol of Romanian cultural heritage. The castle has also been the setting for several films and television projects, further drawing attention to its beauty and historical value. Pelish Castle, with its atmosphere of antiquity and royal grandeur, remains one of the main tourist attractions of Romania, attracting both local residents and foreign visitors. Each element of this magnificent structure tells a story about the royal family and their contribution to the country's development. It is known that the castle was built using the technologies of the time, including electric lighting and central heating, which was rare for such structures. Pelish became one of the first castles in Europe to be equipped with electricity, highlighting its status and grandeur. Walking through its halls, one can feel the spirit of the era when the castle was in its prime, and imagine the royal balls and receptions that took place here. The castle also houses personal belongings of Queen Maria, including her jewellery and clothing, allowing visitors to better understand her personality and lifestyle. Pelish Castle is rightfully considered an architectural masterpiece and an integral part of Romanian history, leaving an indelible impression on all who visit it. Olavinlinna is a medieval fortress located in Finland, near the city of Savonlinna. It was built in 1436 by order of the Swedish King Eric of Pomerania and served as a strategic point for defense against Russian attacks. The fortress is unique in that it is built on 3 islands. 8 towers and powerful walls have stood guard for almost 600 years. Over time, Olavinlinna has become not only a military base, but also a cultural centre, hosting musical festivals such as the Savonlinna Opera Festival, which attracts many tourists. The legend of the Lady Olafi, a ghost of a medieval noblewoman, has enveloped the fortress in mystery. It is said that she was the daughter of a Swedish governor who was cruel to the local people. In one version of her story, she tragically ends her life by drowning in a lake on her wedding day, and her spirit is said to wander the fortress ever since. Local residents claim to sometimes hear her crying or see her ghostly figure walking along the castle walls. This adds a special charm to the fortress and makes it a popular destination for tourists interested in history and legends. There are even tours dedicated to the Lady Olafi, where guides tell her story and tragic fate, as well as other historical events related to the fortress. The architecture of Olavinlinna is a unique blend of Swedish and Finnish styles, with characteristic elements of Gothic and Renaissance. The walls of the fortress are up to 3 meters thick, allowing it to withstand sieges and attacks. Inside the fortress, there are museums where visitors can see artifacts from the Middle Ages, such as old weapons and armor. In the 13th century, the fortress became an important point on the trade route between Sweden and Russia, contributing to the development of the region. In the 18th century, the fortress lost its strategic significance and began to be used as a prison. Over the centuries, Olavinlinna has undergone numerous reconstructions and restorations, ultimately preserving its historical appearance. In the 20th century, the fortress became a national heritage site of Finland and is actively used for cultural events. Every year, thousands of tourists come to enjoy its history and medieval atmosphere. Surrounding the fortress is a beautiful landscape of forests and lakes, making it an ideal place for relaxation and walks. Olavinlinna not only attracts history lovers, but also serves as a significant symbol of Finnish culture, embodying the struggle for independence and self-determination of the people. Despite its military history, the fortress is now a place of peace and inspiration for artists and musicians. Additionally, theatrical performances and concerts are held in the fortress each year, making it a vibrant cultural centre. The ghost of the Lady Olafi has become an integral part of this cultural heritage, highlighting the connection between the past and the present. Interest in her story continues to grow, with new myths and legends emerging each year, making Olavinlinna even more attractive to tourists and researchers. There are numerous references to the Lady Olafi in literature and art, confirming her status as a cultural symbol. Each year, special events are held in the fortress to commemorate her memory, including exhibitions and lectures. Olavinlinna remains an important place for studying Finnish history and culture, attracting the attention of not only historians but also ordinary people interested in the mysteries of the past. The Alcazar in Segovia, Spain, is one of the most impressive castles in the country, built in the shape of a ship, which clearly highlights its unique architecture. The history of this structure dates back to the 11th century, when it was initially used as a fortress. The castle became the residence of the kings of Castile, and in the 13th century, it began to be actively rebuilt. King Alfonso X the Wise, who ruled from 1261 to 1284, significantly influenced the architectural design of the Alcazar. During this time, the castle became a center of education and culture, reflecting the king's interest in science and arts. Alfonso X is also known as the author of the Book of Laws, in which he collected various legal norms and customs, demonstrating his pursuit of justice and order. The Alcazar became an important symbol of the power and influence of the crown, and its walls have witnessed numerous historical events, including battles, coronations, and political intrigues. The castle was rebuilt many times, reflecting changes in architectural styles, from Romanesque to Gothic. In the 15th century, the Alcazar acquired its famous towers, including the Round Tower, which became an integral part of its silhouette. In the 16th century, the castle was used as a prison, and among its inmates were notable figures such as Count Alba. In the 18th century, the Alcazar suffered serious damage during military actions, but its restoration began in the 19th century. The restored interiors of the castle, including magnificent halls and halls with original furniture, now attract tourists from all over the world. The inner courtyards of the Alcazar are lined with arcades in the Moorish style, and the ceilings are adorned with carvings reflecting the richness of cultural influences that shaped Spain. The castle also served as a backdrop for many films, such as Star Wars Episode II, Attack of the Clones, which adds to its popularity among the youth. In the 12th century, the Alcázar became the site of important negotiations, and its walls were witnesses to the signing of peace treaties between hostile parties. Notably, the Alcázar housed a library containing rare manuscripts and books that contributed to the dissemination of knowledge in the Middle Ages. Today, the Alcázar in Segovia is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and attracts more than 1 million tourists annually, confirming its significance as a historical and cultural monument. The height of the castle exceeds 50 metres, and its walls, 2 metres thick, were designed to protect against enemies. The Alcázar also became the venue for various cultural events, including exhibitions and concerts, which help preserve its historical heritage for future generations. Architectural details such as Gothic windows and mosaics make the Alcázar unique among other castles in Spain. Interior rooms, such as the throne room, impress with their grandeur and atmosphere, preserving the spirit of that era. In this hall, the kings of Castile received important guests and conducted solemn ceremonies. The Alcázar has become a symbol not only of Segovia, but of all of Spain, reflecting its rich history and cultural diversity. The castle has survived numerous wars and revolutions, preserving its architectural integrity and historical significance. Its unique location on a cliff overlooking the river Eresma makes the Alcázar a strategically important object that controlled roads and trade in the region. Its majestic walls and towers continue to inspire architects and historians, as well as attract tourists interested in the history and culture of Spain. The fortress in Hungary, located in the city of Pest, was built in the mid-16th century and served as a strategically important stronghold for the Ottoman Empire. At that time, Hungary was under Ottoman control, and the fortress became a symbol of their power in the region. Turkish Pasha Abdul, appointed in 1606, governed this fortress and had significant influence over the local population. The fortress was surrounded by powerful walls, reaching a height of 30 meters, and had several bastions, making it practically impregnable. Pasha Abdul not only commanded the military garrison, but was also known for his lavish lifestyle, which was maintained by a harem consisting of numerous women brought from different corners of the empire. Historical documents claim that his harem housed more than 30 concubines, each with their own room in luxurious apartments decorated with intricate patterns and precious fabrics. This place became a center not only of military, but also of cultural influence, leading to a blend of Eastern and Western traditions. Pasha organized various festivals and balls where local residents could witness the splendor of Ottoman culture. In the 1670s, the fortress served as a crucial base for military operations against Austrian forces, as evidenced by several historical records of battles that took place in the vicinity of Pest. The fortress was also used for storing weapons and ammunition, making it a center of military logistics. At that time, the fortifications were supplemented with modern, for that era, cannons and artillery systems, significantly increasing the fortress's defensive capabilities. Abdul actively collaborated with local aristocrats and provided them with protection in exchange for support of Ottoman rule. His reign was marked by relative calm, and the fortress became not only a defensive structure, but also a place of prosperity for trade and crafts. According to historians, at that time, the fortress was home to around 2,000 people, including military and civilian personnel. The 18th century marked the decline of Ottoman power in Europe, and the fortress gradually lost its strategic importance. In 1718, when the Austrians began active actions against the Ottomans, the fortress was captured, becoming a significant milestone in Hungarian history. The fortress ceased to be the residence of the Pasha and was transferred to the control of the Austrian army, which finally changed its status in the region. The fortress remained abandoned for many years until the 19th century, when its reconstruction began. In the 20th century, the fortress was transformed into a historical museum where one could see artifacts related to its rich history, including items from the Pasha's harem. Today, the Fortress of Pest, known as the Citadel, is a popular tourist attraction, drawing thousands of visitors annually who want to learn about its role in Hungarian and Ottoman history. The height of the walls and the grandeur of the fortress are impressive, and its architecture is an example of Ottoman style that continues to inspire awe. Inside the fortress, remnants of old buildings, including a mosque built in the 17th century and used for prayer by Muslim residents, have been preserved. Historical research has also uncovered documents confirming that the fortress was used as a prison for political prisoners in different historical periods. Corvin Castle, located in Romania, is one of the most impressive medieval structures in the country and a symbol of the legends surrounding the curse of the Hunyadi family. Built in the 15th century, the castle is an outstanding example of Gothic architecture with Renaissance elements. Its construction began in 1445 under the leadership of John Hunyadi, who was not only a military commander but also the regent of the Hungarian kingdom. The castle occupies a strategically important position on a high hill, allowing it to control the surrounding territories. In exchange for protection from attacks, it became the residence of many generals and secondary kings. Legend has it that John Hunyadi, known for his harsh methods of warfare, became a victim of his own curse. According to the tales, his wife, Elizabeth, was accused of witchcraft and executed in the castle, which enraged a spirit that brought terrible misfortunes upon the Hunyadi family. Years later, in 1495, their son Laszlo Hunyadi, also known as Laszlo IV, was killed in battle, which only confirmed the rumours of the curse. Over the following centuries, the castle became a place where not only military battles but also political intrigues took place. In the 16th century, it was in the hands of the Transylvanian prince Gabor Bethlin, who significantly expanded and embellished it. Corvin Castle became a significant centre of cultural life in the region, hosting meetings of scholars and organising festivals. In the 17th century, the castle experienced a period of decline, being abandoned and falling into disrepair. However, in the 18th century, its restoration began. The castle became an object of interest for archaeologists and historians who conducted excavations and studied its architectural features. In the 20th century, Corvin Castle was declared a national monument and became a popular tourist attraction. According to recent studies, the castle attracts around 100,000 tourists annually. Inside the castle, one can see many historical artifacts, including ancient armour, weapons, and furniture. The walls still bear frescoes depicting scenes from the life of the Hunyadi family and their contemporaries, allowing visitors to glimpse into the past and understand how people lived at that time. The legend of the ravens, associated with the castle, tells that the ravens are the souls of those killed by the Hunyadi family and will forever guard its secrets. The appearance of these birds is considered a sign of misfortune, and local residents avoid visiting the castle on certain days, fearing encounters with cursed souls. Corvin Castle is not just an architectural monument. It is a place where history and legends intertwine, creating a unique atmosphere filled with the spirit of the Middle Ages and mysteries that continue to captivate researchers. Each of its stone structures holds many secrets and stories waiting to be rediscovered. The castle's gates, adorned with carvings, lead to spacious halls where banquets and fateful decisions were once made. Inside the castle, there is also the famous torture chamber, where, according to rumours, the most brutal interrogation methods were used. Despite its dark history, Corvin Castle attracts people with its majestic beauty and complex fate, as well as those seeking answers to questions about the past. Ravens, according to legend, are not only symbols of the curse, but also guardians of history, making this place even more mysterious and attractive to history enthusiasts. Corvin Castle is not just a tourist attraction. It is a true encyclopedia of medieval history, preserving many secrets and legends, waiting for its time to be revealed. Golconda Fort, located in the state of Telangana, India, was built in the 13th century and served as the capital of the Golconda Sultanate. This fortress is renowned not only for its magnificent architecture, but also for its rich history, intertwined with legends of precious gems. One of the most famous stories is connected to the Koh-i-Noor diamond, which was mined in the region known for its Brazilian diamonds. Koh-i-Noor, which translates from Persian as Mountain of Light, became a symbol of power and wealth. In the 16th century, the Sultan of Golconda, Nizam-ul-Mulk, known for his greed and ambition, acquired this diamond, which became a source of envy and desire. Legend has it that those who owned the Koh-i-Noor were cursed. They would inevitably face tragedies and misfortunes. The 18th century was significant for Golconda. In 1740, under the orders of Sultan Nasiruddin, new fortifications were built, strengthening the fortress's defences. At this time, the fortress was a true treasure trove, housing not only diamonds but also other precious gems that attracted the attention of European colonisers. In 1789, Golconda Fort was captured by the British general A.B.F. Curtis. The British found a substantial amount of valuables, including diamonds, which became part of the British Crown. The Koh-i-Noor ended up in the hands of the British government, further enhancing its legendary reputation. After the capture of the fortress, the diamond became a symbol of colonial rule and the suffering of the Indian people. The Sultan who owned the Koh-i-Noor became a victim of the curse. He lost his army, kingdom, and life. The diamond was presented to Queen Victoria, marking a new chapter in its history. In 1859, during the Indian Rebellion, the diamond was temporarily lost but was soon found and returned. In 1912, the Koh-i-Noor was placed in the Topkapi Museum in Istanbul, where it continues to attract tourists and collectors. Its history is not just a tale of wealth, but also of human greed, power, and tragedy. It is believed that the Koh-i-Noor's curse continues to affect those who possess it, leading them to eventual misfortune. The history of Golconda Fort and the Koh-i-Noor diamond reflects the complex and contradictory fate of India, where wealth, tragedy, and mythology intertwine. In modern times, Golconda is a significant historical landmark, drawing thousands of tourists who seek not only to marvel at its architectural wonders, but also to experience the atmosphere steeped in history and legend. The fort covers an area of approximately 12 square kilometres and includes numerous buildings, towers, and water bodies that have retained their architectural value. Glamis Castle, located in the county of the same name in Scotland, is one of the most famous historical castles in the country, and a place surrounded by numerous legends and myths. Built in the 14th century, the castle has since become the home of the Stuart family, one of the most influential dynasties in Scotland. Initially a wooden fortress, it was rebuilt in stone in the 16th century, giving it its characteristic appearance with tall towers and strong walls. One of the most famous legends associated with Glamis is the story of the Grey Lady, a ghost said to wander its halls. According to some accounts, the Grey Lady is the spirit of Lady Eleanor Bowes-Lyon, born in 1381 and the mother of King James II of Scotland. The legend states that Eleanor was killed in the castle as a result of a plot, although the exact circumstances of her death remain unclear. Some sources claim that her ghost appears in the castle when a member of the Stuart family is in danger, adding an extra layer of mystery to the story. Glamis Castle is also known for its dark secrets. In the 16th century, secret rituals were held here, and it is said that prisoners were held in one of the dungeons and tortured. This has led to the castle being known as one of the most cursed places in Scotland. There are numerous accounts of encounters with ghosts and unexplained phenomena, which attract tourists from around the world. In the 20th century, the castle was opened to the public, and it is visited by around 150,000 people each year. Tours of the castle allow visitors to see not only its magnificent interiors, but also learn about its rich history. Interestingly, the castle has been the location for several films and TV series, further increasing its popularity. Glamis Castle is situated on picturesque grounds surrounded by gardens, forests, and lakes, making it not only a historical but also a scenic place to visit. Inside the castle, original interior elements such as carved wooden panels and antique furniture from the 16th and 17th centuries are preserved. One of the most impressive rooms is the Great Hall, where visitors can see beautiful frescoes on the ceiling. There are also numerous portraits of members of the Stuart family that help to better understand the history of this dynasty. The castle houses many rare artefacts, including old books and documents that tell the story of life in Scotland over the centuries. Thanks to its historical significance and numerous legends, Glamis Castle continues to attract the attention of both historians and lovers of the supernatural. Sir Walter Scott, the famous Scottish writer, mentioned the castle in his works, which also contributed to its popularity in culture. The castle has been the subject of study for many researchers who try to uncover the true history of the Grey Lady and other myths associated with this place. Local residents and tourists actively share their impressions of ghosts, creating an atmosphere of mystery and intrigue around the castle. Glamis Castle is not only a symbol of Scottish architecture, but also a place where history and mythology intertwine. In recent years, various cultural events such as concerts and exhibitions have been held here, helping to maintain interest in the castle and its history. There are even special night tours that promise to show the darkest corners of the castle and tell stories about its ghosts. During one such event in 2020, a group of tourists reported strange sounds and icy winds in closed rooms, once again fueling the interest in the legend of the Grey Lady. Depending on the time of year, the castle looks different. In spring, it is covered in flowers. In summer, it attracts with its greenery. In autumn, it delights with its bright colours. And in winter, it is covered in a snowy blanket, giving it a fairy tale appearance. This place not only attracts tourists, but also serves as a source of inspiration for artists and writers. Glamis Castle, with its history and myths, continues to be a living monument to Scottish culture and heritage, which cannot be ignored. Near the castle, there are numerous hiking trails and cycling routes, making it an ideal place for active outdoor recreation. Glamis Castle is not just an old building. It is an entire era that preserves both the joys and tragedies of Scottish history. Nesvizh Castle, located in Belarus, is a remarkable example of Renaissance architecture built in the 16th century. The castle served as the residence of the Radziwill princes, one of the most influential families in the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. Construction began in 1538 under the direction of architect Jan Martin Kleiner and was completed by 1568. The castle was built in the style of early Renaissance, combining elements of Gothic and Baroque, and is known for its complex layout and magnificent interiors. One of the most famous legends associated with Nesvizh is the story of Barbara Radziwill, known as the Black Lady. Born in 1540, Barbara was the daughter of the great Lithuanian hetman and married a Radziwill prince. After her death in 1561, strange events began to occur in the castle. According to legend, her spirit wanders the castle corridors in a black dress, attracting the attention of tourists and researchers. Many witnesses have claimed to see her ghost in various parts of the castle, particularly in the chapel and the library. The castle is also renowned for its unique architectural solutions, such as its defensive system based on moats and ramparts, which was one of the most advanced of its time. Inside the castle, there are luxurious halls like the Queen Bona Hall, adorned with unique frescoes and carvings. The library, which houses rare books and manuscripts related to the history of Belarus and Poland, is also noteworthy. In 1981, Nesvizh Castle was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List, which contributed to its restoration and preservation. Restoration work began in 1999 and continues to this day. The castle attracts not only historians and architects, but also tourists from around the world. Its rich history, connected with the Grand Ducal dynasty and numerous cultural events, makes it a unique place for studying Belarusian history. Surrounding the castle are picturesque parks and ponds, which also play a significant role in the region's ecosystem. Nesvizh Castle is not only an architectural masterpiece, but also a symbol of Belarusian culture and history, reflecting the complex relationships between Poland and Lithuania throughout different historical periods. Despite its popularity, the castle still holds many secrets and mysteries waiting to be uncovered. For example, research conducted in 2020 revealed the existence of unexplored underground passages that may have been used for secret movements by the princes in the past. The castle also hosts various cultural events, including exhibitions, lectures, and theatrical performances, making it a vibrant cultural centre. For instance, in 2020, a festival dedicated to the history of the Radzywills was held here, attracting many participants and spectators. The castle has become not only a place for historical study, but also a platform for contemporary art and cultural exchange. As a result, Nesvizh Castle, with its rich heritage and mystical legends, continues to attract the attention of both local residents and tourists, preserving the spirit of the past and opening new horizons for future generations. Kilkenny Castle, situated in the heart of Ireland, is a historical monument shrouded in myths and legends, among which two prominent figures stand out: the Demon Cat and Dame Alice Keitler, known as the medieval witch. The castle was built in the 12th century, and its architecture reflects various styles, from Norman to Gothic. In the 13th century, the castle became the residence of the Kilkenny family, adding to its historical significance. In the 14th century, Dame Alice Keitler, a wealthy and influential woman, found herself at the centre of a scandal when she was accused of witchcraft. During this time, the witch hunts in Ireland reached their peak, and Keitler became one of the first women to be convicted of witchcraft. She was accused of using magical powers to kill her husbands and seize their fortunes. As a result of the trial in 1339, Dame Alice was forced to flee, but her name remained in history as a symbol of resistance against prejudice and judicial abuses. The castle also has a legend about the Demon Cat, a creature that, according to the legend, was summoned by Keitler to perform her magical tasks. It is said that this cat could transform into a human and assist its mistress in her dark deeds. During archaeological excavations conducted in the castle in the 21st century, artifacts were discovered that confirmed that many unusual things took place there. For example, researchers found ceramic items used in rituals related to witchcraft. These artifacts contained traces of soot, indicating the use of fire in magical processes. These archaeological finds attracted the attention of historians and researchers who began to study the lives and practices of women accused of witchcraft in the Middle Ages in depth. For instance, Dr. Mary Riley from Trinity University in Dublin argues that cases of witchcraft accusations in Ireland often had roots in social and economic inequality. According to her, women who were independent and wealthy, like Dame Alice, became targets of envy and revenge. In this context, Kilkenny Castle is not only an architectural monument, but also a symbol of the epochal changes that took place in society. The castle was reconstructed in the 16th century, and its powerful walls, over 80 metres high, served as protection against enemies. Inside the castle, original elements such as high-ceilinged halls and Gothic windows have been preserved, creating an atmosphere of the past. In addition to the legends of Dame Alice and the Demon Cat, the castle has also become a venue for various cultural events, such as festivals and theatrical performances dedicated to historical events. Kilkenny Castle, one of the most popular tourist destinations in Ireland, welcomes over 200,000 tourists annually who are interested in its rich history and mystical legends. Studies show that such historical sites attract the attention of young people, contributing to the revival of interest in Irish history. In this context, Kilkenny Castle can be considered not only a tourist attraction, but also an important educational resource that helps to better understand the social and cultural aspects of medieval Ireland. The castle also hosts exhibitions dedicated to local traditions, which helps to preserve and pass on cultural heritage to future generations. An important part of the castle is its gardens, which have been restored in the style of the 16th century and show how historical landscapes looked at that time. Kilkenny Castle is not just an old building, it is a real treasure trove of history, where each stone holds a secret. From time to time, special tours are held, during which the story of Dame Alice and her dark fate, as well as the legends related to the Demon Cat, are told. These tours not only educate, but also provoke reflection on how society has changed its perception of women and their roles in history. Each tour in Kilkenny Castle offers the opportunity to look back at the past and understand how myths and reality intertwine in a historical context. Castle Caerphil, located in the county of Brecon, Wales, was built in the 11th century and is a remarkable example of military architecture of that era. The castle was constructed in the year 1199 by order of the Norman conqueror Richard de Capelle, who sought to consolidate his position in the region following the conquest of England. The castle's walls are over 3 metres thick, making it virtually impregnable to enemies of the time. Castle Caerphil served not only as a military stronghold, but also as a residence for local lords and their families. However, its history is filled with tragedies, one of which is connected to the ghost of a princess who died from unrequited love. The legend tells of a princess, whose name has not been preserved in history, who was the daughter of one of the castle's lords. She fell in love with a young knight, who, unfortunately, was killed in battle. Upon learning of his death, the princess fell into deep despair and soon died of a broken heart. Since then, as witnesses claim, her spirit wanders through the castle's halls, especially on the night of October 21st to 22nd, when she is said to appear in a white dress, searching for her beloved. Local residents tell of strange sounds and cold gusts of wind that precede her appearance, creating an atmosphere of mystery around the castle. In the 19th century, the castle became the subject of study for many researchers, including the renowned paranormal investigator, Dr. Edward Hay, who described his observations in the book The Mysteries of Caerphil. Hay claimed to have spotted the princess's ghost on the old staircase, where she is said to have spoken a few words about her love. This attracted the attention of journalists and tourists, turning the castle into a popular destination for ghost hunters. In the 21st century, filmmakers took an interest in the castle, and its fading shadows became the basis for ghost documentaries, once again raising interest in its rich history. The castle has become part of Wales' cultural heritage and is protected as a historic monument. In 2020, Castle Caerphil was included in the list of the most visited historical sites in Wales, attracting over 100,000 tourists annually. Over the past years, archaeologists have conducted several excavations on the castle grounds, uncovering artifacts dating back to the 12th century, such as pottery and coins, which confirm its significance as a trade and cultural centre in the Middle Ages. The castle has also become a venue for various cultural events, including festivals and exhibitions, which help preserve its historical memory among modern generations. 800 years ago, Castle Caerphil was a symbol of power and authority, and today it embodies the spirit of romance and tragedy, connected to the story of the princess's love. Preserving such stories and myths helps us understand how deeply emotions are rooted in the cultural memory of a people and how they continue to live in our consciousness. Castle Caerphil has become not only a place for the study of history, but also a symbol of local folklore that continues to inspire people to this day. Himeji Castle, located in Japan, is considered one of the most beautiful and well-preserved castles in the country. Built in the early 17th century, its construction began in 1592 under the leadership of the samurai Ieyasu Tokugawa. The castle is a remarkable example of Japanese architecture, combining elements of military and civilian construction. It has been listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2009 and attracts numerous tourists each year with its grandeur and unique history. One of the most famous legends associated with the castle is the story of a girl named Oki, who became a victim of injustice. Oki was a maid in the castle and worked for Lord Asano, who was the owner of the castle in the 17th century. She was known for her beauty and kindness, but her life ended tragically due to an accusation of theft. According to the legend, Oki accidentally broke one of the 10 precious plates belonging to her master. Despite not committing the theft, she was accused and punished. Oki was thrown into the castle well and died there. After her death, according to the legend, the spirit of Oki began to appear in the castle, and her cries could still be heard. The legend says that she returns to the well every night, counting the plates and trying to find her broken one. Many witnesses claim to have heard her voice, calling for justice. There is even a belief that if someone counts to 9 and then says 10, Oki will become audible and start crying. The story of Oki has become the basis for many theatrical performances and films, including the famous film Ringu. In Japan, the story of Oki is seen as a warning about the consequences of injustice and betrayal. Himeji Castle, with its white walls and majestic towers, has become a symbol not only of Japanese architecture, but also a place where real events and legends intertwine. Every year, the castle attracts thousands of visitors who come not only to admire its beauty, but also to learn about its dark history. The castle and the city of Himeji are important tourist destinations, and in 2018, more than 3 million tourists visited them. One of the castle's unique features is its defensive structures, including a stone wall and numerous clever passages used to protect against enemies. Additionally, the castle is famous for its gardens, which are particularly beautiful in spring when the cherry blossoms bloom. Notably, Himeji Castle not only survived the Second World War, but also avoided destruction, unlike many other historical buildings. It has been restored several times to preserve its original beauty, with the most recent major restoration completed in 2012. Himeji Castle, with its legends and history, is not just an architectural monument, but a living part of Japanese culture, where reality and myth intertwine. Hunedoara Castle, located in Romania, is one of the most famous historical fortresses in the country and is closely associated with the legend of Vlad the Impaler, more commonly known as Dracula. This Gothic castle, built in the 14th century, is an outstanding example of medieval architecture and is situated on a high cliff, giving it a formidable appearance. Constructed between 1361 and 1446, the castle served not only as a residence for local rulers, but also as a strategic fortress protecting the borders from invasions. Vlad the Impaler, who ruled Wallachia in the mid-15th century, used Hunedoara as one of his bases in his struggle against the Ottoman Empire. During this time, he gained a reputation for his cruelty, and the castle became the place where, according to legends, he imprisoned his enemies in dungeons. It is worth noting that the castle has several underground dungeons used for imprisonment and torture. For example, one of these dungeons, known as the Sad Chamber, has a notorious reputation and is believed to be the place where Vlad the Impaler used his cruel methods against his opponents. The dungeon is equipped with heavy iron bars and stones used to subdue prisoners. The castle is also known for its architectural features, such as high towers and massive walls that reach a thickness of 3 meters. These walls were built from limestone and brick, making the fortress practically invincible to attacks. Inside the castle, one can find numerous historical artifacts, including old knight armor and weapons used in battles. In the 18th century, a large-scale restoration of the castle began, which helped preserve it in a good condition to this day. Today, Hunedoara is a popular tourist destination, attracting more than 100,000 visitors per year. The castle has also become a subject of various myths and legends related to vampirism, which attracts fans of mystery and history. Research indicates that the castle may have inspired Bram Stoker in creating the character of Dracula in his famous novel. Currently, Hunedoara Castle is a protected historical and cultural monument of Romania, and is listed as a National Historical Monument of the country. Additionally, various cultural events, including exhibitions and theatrical performances, are held in the castle, which help preserve the heritage of this unique place. Inside the castle, there is also a collection of old books and manuscripts that tell the story of its rich history. It is known that the castle was besieged 3 times, especially during the Turkish Wars, and managed to maintain its architectural integrity due to its fortunate location and powerful walls. The castle has become a symbol of Wallachia and Romania, attracting the attention of both local residents and tourists from around the world. In addition to its historical value, Hunedoara also attracts with its mysterious atmosphere and numerous legends about ghosts, making it a popular destination for ghost hunters. Archaeological excavations in the vicinity of the castle continue, and new finds only add to the interest in its history. In the 21st century, the castle has become an important cultural object where festivals and exhibitions dedicated to medieval culture and the history of Romania are held. Hunedoara Castle, with its rich heritage and mysterious atmosphere, continues to be an important element of the historical and cultural identity of the country. Windsor Castle is one of the most famous royal residences in Britain, located in the county of Berkshire. It was founded in the 11th century by William the Conqueror and has since become a symbol of British monarchy. The castle was originally built as a defensive structure to protect against attacks from the continent. The construction of the first stone walls began in 1088, and by the 12th century, the castle had taken on its modern appearance with characteristic towers and moats. Queen Elizabeth I, who reigned from 1558 to 1613, was one of the most famous residents of the castle. She spent considerable time there, using Windsor as a place for relaxation and making important political decisions. During her time, the castle became not only a residence, but also a centre of cultural life. The Queen hosted lavish gatherings where artists, poets and scholars, such as William Shakespeare, would assemble. In 1581, as part of an architectural reconstruction, a new section known as the Queen's Residence was added, which later became the home of the royal family. The castle played a key role in English history, serving as the site of coronations and other significant rituals. In 1630, the coronation of King Charles II took place here, underscoring its importance in the country's state life. Windsor also witnessed many historical events, such as during World War II, when it was used for meetings with foreign delegations. Architectural features of the castle, such as its massive towers and extensive gardens, create an impressive sight. The interior halls are adorned with artworks and antiques collected over centuries. Windsor holds many secrets, including treasures amassed by royal families over the centuries. One of the most famous artifacts is the Golden Crown, used during the coronation of Queen Victoria in 1837. The castle is also renowned for its collection of paintings, including works by artists such as Rubens and Van Dyck. Windsor has become not only a residence but also a museum, attracting millions of tourists each year who wish to see not only the castle itself but also its historical exhibits. Windsor Castle remains one of the most visited tourist attractions in England, welcoming over 1 million visitors annually, highlighting its significance as a historical and cultural landmark. Each year, various events such as jousting tournaments and celebrations take place at the castle, making it a centre of public life in the region. This is not just a collection of stone walls, but a living history where the fates of kings and queens, as well as ordinary people who worked and lived near the royal family, are intertwined. Windsor has become a symbol not only of royal power, but also of British identity, reflecting the country's multi-century history. Every corner of this castle is steeped in history, and its majestic halls, filled with the echoes of past centuries, continue to inspire and amaze people. Windsor Castle is not just an architectural monument, but a living organism that continues to evolve and adapt to modern realities while remaining faithful to its historical roots. The castle serves as the residence of the English royal family and is actively used for official events, including state visits and grand ceremonies. Warwick Castle, located in Warwickshire, England, was founded in the 11th century when the Norman conqueror William the Conqueror ordered the construction of a fortress to control the surrounding area. The construction of the castle began in 1066, and its strategic location on the River Avon provided protection against potential attacks. The castle became a significant military and political centre, and its architecture reflects various styles, from Norman to Gothic. In the 14th century, it was rebuilt, resulting in the construction of magnificent towers and fortifications that have endured to this day. Warwick Castle is also renowned for its legends and ghosts. One of the most famous stories is the legend of Countess Fiona, also known as the Lady in Grey. According to the tale, the Countess, married to the Earl of Warwick, was unfaithful, and her husband, upon discovering this, imprisoned her in the castle's tower. It is said that her spirit still wanders the corridors in a grey dress, visible in the twilight. This legend draws many tourists seeking to experience the atmosphere of the ancient castle and perhaps encounter a ghost. In the 18th century, the castle was rebuilt, and its interiors were decorated in the Renaissance style. The architects used expensive materials such as marble and gold to create opulent halls. One of the most impressive areas is the Great Hall, where unique frescoes and tapestries depicting the glorious deeds of the Earls of Warwick have been preserved. These works of art were created in the 14th century and are important historical artifacts. The castle has witnessed numerous historical events, including the Wars of the Roses, during which it served as a battleground for the opposing houses of Lancaster and York. In 1451, the castle was besieged by the forces of King Edward IV, and only after a long siege did its defenders surrender. Restoration of the castle began in the 16th century when its owners decided to transform it into an attractive place for leisure and entertainment. As a result, the castle became popular among the upper class, who held hunts and balls there. In the 19th century, Warwick Castle was designated a historic monument and opened to the public. Since then, millions of tourists visit it annually, making it one of the most famous historical sites in Britain. Inside the castle, visitors can see armoury halls, ancient armour, and even a collection of paintings, including works by Titian and Van Dyck. The castle is also famous for its gardens, designed in the 18th century. These gardens feature a variety of plants, flower beds, and even artificial lakes, creating a picturesque landscape. Warwick Castle has become not only a historical monument, but also an important cultural centre where exhibitions, festivals, and various events are held. For example, in August, an annual jousting tournament is held, featuring competitions and masterclasses in medieval arts. In recent years, the castle has actively used modern technologies to create interactive exhibitions that help visitors better understand the history and culture of this remarkable fortress. There are even audio guides that tell about each hall and exhibit, providing interesting facts and legends about the castle. Warwick Castle is not just an architectural structure. It is a living history that continues to attract people from all over the world with its grandeur and mysteries. The castle has become a symbol of English history and culture, maintaining its significance over the centuries. In 1981, the castle was included in the UNESCO World Heritage List as part of a larger group of historical sites demonstrating the development of English architecture and art. Malbork Castle, located in Poland, is one of the most significant medieval fortresses in Europe and the largest brick castle in the world. Built in the 13th century, it served as the residence of the Grand Master of the Teutonic Order. Construction began in 1230, when knights started settling the lands of Prussia. The castle was built as a military stronghold and administrative centre, as well as a symbol of the order's power. Throughout its existence, the castle was repeatedly expanded and rebuilt, making it a remarkable example of Gothic architecture. In particular, in 1355, the construction of the castle's largest gatehouse was completed, where the assembly hall was located. Inside the castle, magnificent frescoes and unique Gothic elements, such as high vaults and stained glass windows, created in the late 14th century, have been preserved. The castle was also a significant centre for the Christianization of Prussia, where missionary activities aimed at converting the local population were conducted. The Grand Master of the Teutonic Order, in particular, was not only a military leader, but also a spiritual one, and his authority extended over many territories. In 1388, the castle became the scene of the first clashes between the Teutonic Order and Polish principalities. Throughout its existence, the castle witnessed many historical events, including the Battle of Grunwald in 1410, where the combined forces of Poland and Lithuania achieved a decisive victory over the Knights of the Teutonic Order. After this defeat, the castle became a symbol of the Order's fall and its power in the region. In the late 15th century, the castle became the property of the Polish kingdom, but continued to be used as a military fortress until the end of the 17th century. In the 18th century, the castle suffered serious damage from Swedish wars and then from Napoleonic wars, leading to its partial destruction. In the 19th century, work began on the restoration of the castle, and in 1863, it became part of the Prussian heritage. Today, Malbork Castle is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and attracts thousands of tourists each year. Inside the castle, exhibitions dedicated to its history and the culture of the Teutonic Order are held, including unique artifacts such as knightly armour and weapons. Additionally, the castle serves as a venue for various cultural events, including historical reconstructions and festivals. The castle not only has a rich history, but also represents a unique architectural value, with an area of more than 25 hectares and more than 37 towers, each with its own history. The height of the main tower reaches 36 metres, and it served as an important observation point for the defence of the castle. Malbork Castle is not just a fortress. It is a symbol of the power and ambitions of the Teutonic Order, which left a deep mark on the history of Poland and all of Central Europe. Dunluce Castle, situated on the southern coast of Ireland in County Wexford, is not merely a medieval structure, but a place rich in legends and mysteries. Built in the 12th century, the castle served as a residence for many generations of aristocrats, starting with the Desmond family. The high stone walls and powerful towers of the castle rise above the rocky coastline, providing not only protection but also a breathtaking view of the ocean. According to legend, a banshee named Moid is said to inhabit the castle, her mournful wail foretelling death. In Irish folklore, a banshee is a ghost that appears before the death of a family member, and anyone who hears her cries can expect tragic news. Moid, it is said, was a beautiful young woman whose life ended tragically due to betrayal by her lover. She leapt from the cliffs into the ocean, and her spirit has been wandering these lands ever since, lamenting her loss. Research conducted in the 20th century shows that Dunluce Castle was also a site of battles during the era of the clans, when local lords fought for control of the lands. Archaeological excavations in 2003 revealed remnants of ancient weapons and pottery, indicating that people lived here long before the castle was built. The castle walls still bear the scars of these battles, and the echoes of the past can be heard in its dungeons. According to local residents, Moid's cries can be heard at night when the wind blows from the ocean, creating an atmosphere of mystery and a sense of unease that attracts tourists and researchers from around the world. The famous Irish writer William Butler Yeats described banshees in his works, which helped popularise this legend. Dunluce Castle also offers guided tours where the history and legends of the castle are recounted, making it a popular destination among tourists. In 2009, the castle was listed as a historical monument in Ireland, recognising its significance in the country's cultural heritage. The castle stands on a cliff that exceeds 50 metres in height, adding drama to its appearance. On November 18, 1982, a strong earthquake damaged part of the castle's walls, but it remains one of Ireland's most visited landmarks. This place not only attracts history enthusiasts, but also those seeking thrills, as many claim to have seen the ghost of Moid. It is also worth noting that the castle has been the location for several film shoots, further boosting its popularity. In recent years, the castle has hosted various cultural events, including exhibitions and theatrical performances based on Irish folklore. In 2020, a new exhibition dedicated to local legends, including the story of the Banshee Moid, was opened in the castle. Dunluce Castle has become a symbol of Irish culture and heritage, and its stories continue to live in the hearts and minds of people. For centuries, it has guarded its secrets and legends, and each new generation adds its own touches to its history. Additionally, the castle is located near a natural reserve, making it an ideal place to study both cultural and natural heritage of Ireland. The height of the cliff on which the castle stands allows for breathtaking views of the Atlantic Ocean, attracting not only researchers but also lovers of beautiful landscapes. Dunluce Castle is not just a historical building, but a living testament to Ireland's rich history and culture, where every stone and crack in the walls tells a story. Edinburgh Castle is one of the most famous historical fortresses in Scotland, located on the summit of a volcanic rock that reaches a height of over 1,200 metres. Founded in the 11th century, it has since become the centre of political life in Scotland and the residence of kings. Its walls have witnessed numerous historical events, including the siege in 1496 when Edinburgh was captured by the English. Inside the castle, one can see the Scottish royal treasures, including the crown, sceptre and sword, which date back to the 14th century. However, one of the most intriguing stories connected to Edinburgh Castle is the legend of the ghost of a piper boy, who, according to legend, wanders its streets. It is said that in the 16th century, during the reign of Mary, Queen of Scots, a young boy playing the bagpipes in the castle suddenly died. His spirit, it is believed, has not left the castle, and his music can still be heard in the night silence. One of the most famous encounters with the ghost occurred in the 1970s, when a guard at the castle claimed to have heard the sounds of bagpipes coming from an empty corridor. This event attracted the attention of paranormal researchers such as Derek Accord, who conducted an investigation and documented numerous accounts of encounters with the boy's ghost. 80% of visitors to the castle claim to have felt the presence of something unusual in certain parts of the fortress. Some researchers attribute this activity to tragic events that occurred in the castle, including the torture and execution of enemies of the crown. There is also a version that the piper could have been connected to the MacFarlane clan, whose ancestors, according to one version, served at the courts of Scottish kings and lost their lives in political intrigues. In the 18th century, Edinburgh Castle became a venue for many public events, and even today, it remains one of the most visited historical sites in Scotland. Each year, the castle attracts more than 1 million tourists, making it an important object for the study not only of Scottish history, but also of its cultural heritage. The ghost of the Piper Boy has become a symbol of the castle, attracting not only history enthusiasts, but also tourists seeking thrills. Research shows that about 30% of visitors to the castle are interested in the paranormal phenomena associated with its history. Special night tours are held at the castle dedicated to its ghosts, where tourists can hear stories about the Piper Boy's ghost and other spirits that are believed to inhabit the fortress. The first mentions of the ghost appeared in the 19th century when local residents began to talk about strange sounds and visions. Unusual events continue to this day, leaving traces in the history of the castle and in the minds of its visitors. For example, in 2020, a group of tourists reported seeing a figure of a boy playing the bagpipes in one of the castle's windows, which sparked interest in paranormal research in this historical place. Edinburgh Castle is not only a place with a rich history, but also an object where the past and present intersect in the most unexpected ways. The ghost of the Piper Boy has become a part of the cultural identity not only of the castle, but also of the entire Edinburgh, highlighting the mysterious atmosphere of this historical city. Český Krumlov Castle, located in the south of Bohemia, is one of the most brilliant gems of Czech architecture, built in the Renaissance and Baroque styles. The castle was founded in the 13th century as a fortress to protect trade routes. Over the centuries, it belonged to various families, with the Rosenbergs being the most notable. It was during this period, in the 16th century, that the castle took its final form. One of the most interesting characters associated with the castle is Perchta of Rosenberg, also known as Bílá Panna. She was born in 1430 and became a symbol of Czech mythology and legends. Perchta was known for her beauty and kindness, as well as her tragic fate. Many legends surround her ghost, which is said to wander the castle and its surroundings, especially at night. The castle is renowned for its magnificent interiors, such as the Renaissance Hall and the Chapel of St. Vincent, where frescoes created in the 17th century can be found. Architecturally, the castle combines elements of Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque styles, making it unique. The castle also houses a famous theatre built in 1818, which is still used for performances. The castle's exterior is impressive, standing on a cliff and surrounded by the Vltava River, creating picturesque views. The castle was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1992, confirming its cultural significance. Perchta of Rosenberg is a central figure in local mythology, and her story is woven into the cultural fabric of the region. Legends about her often revolve around themes of love and betrayal, making her image particularly appealing to tourists. Many believe that Perchta appears at night to protect the castle and its inhabitants. Each year, the castle attracts thousands of tourists eager to learn more about its history and legends. For example, in 2020, the castle was visited by over 100,000 people. Inside the castle, valuable artifacts such as old maps, books, and works of art are preserved, reflecting the rich history of Český Krumlov. Additionally, various exhibitions are held in the castle, dedicated to the history of the region and the lives of the Rosenbergs. The 18th century was a time of artistic flourishing in Český Krumlov, which is reflected in the design of many of the castle's halls. The outer walls are adorned with frescoes depicting mythological scenes, adding an air of mystery to the place. The castle covers an area of over 30,000 square meters, making it one of the largest castles in the Czech Republic. By the end of the 19th century, with changes in political circumstances, the castle lost its importance as a defensive structure, but continued to attract attention as a cultural heritage site. Today, the castle serves not only as a tourist attraction, but also as a venue for cultural events such as concerts and theatrical performances. Český Krumlov also hosts annual festivals that highlight the castle's history and legends. For example, the Český Krumlov Castle Festival attracts performers and audiences from across the country. Many films and TV series have been shot on the backdrop of this picturesque castle, further increasing its popularity. Český Krumlov Castle is not just a historical building. It is a living history that continues to inspire people today. Every corner of the castle is imbued with the spirit of the past, and each visitor has the opportunity to experience its grandeur. Mont Saint-Michel is one of the most famous and visited historical landmarks in France, located on the island of the same name in Normandy, 8 kilometers from the coast. This unique architectural ensemble, built on a rock, has become a symbol not only of Normandy, but of France as a whole. Built in the 8th century, the monastery was dedicated to the Archangel Michael, who, according to legend, appeared to the Bishop of Avranches to command him to build a church on this site. The construction of the monastery continued for several centuries, and its architecture combines elements of Romanesque and Gothic styles, making it visually impressive. In the 12th century, the monastery became a major centre of pilgrimage, attracting not only local residents but also pilgrims from distant corners of Europe. From the 12th to the 18th century, Mont Saint-Michel received around 100,000 pilgrims per year, who believed that prayers said here could help save their souls. In Christian tradition, the Archangel Michael is the protector and patron of souls, adding significance to this place. The unique geography of the island, which becomes accessible during low tide and is surrounded by water during high tide, creates an atmosphere of mystery and sanctity. This natural phenomenon also attracted pilgrims who considered the path to the monastery, traversed in difficult conditions, as a test of faith. The monastery was surrounded by extensive lands that provided its inhabitants with everything they needed. In the 14th century, it was not only a monastery, but also a fortress, which successfully defended itself against English attacks during the 100 Years' War. The walls and towers of Mont Saint-Michel, built according to the latest military technologies of the time, withstood numerous sieges, adding to its reputation as an impregnable fortress. The 18th century marked the decline of the monastery as a religious centre, when during the French Revolution it was closed and turned into a prison. However, despite all the difficulties, Mont Saint-Michel not only endured but also became an object of veneration and admiration. In the 19th century, a large-scale restoration began, and in 1966 it was declared a historical monument. Today, Mont Saint-Michel is included in the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites and annually attracts millions of tourists who come not only to admire its architecture, but also to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of spirituality and history. The local residents, known as monges, preserve traditions related to pilgrimage and conduct tours for tourists, telling them about the legends and myths associated with the Archangel Michael. It is interesting that during high tide, the water level around the monastery rises to 8 meters, creating the effect that it is floating on the sea. This natural phenomenon inspires artists and writers, and many of them have depicted Mont Saint-Michel in their works, emphasizing its mystical atmosphere. There are many legends that the souls of pilgrims who came here with the hope of salvation still wander around the island, and their presence is felt even today. In this place, time seems to stand still, and each stone breathes history. Mont Saint-Michel is not just a historical object. It is a living witness to the centuries-long struggle of man for faith and hope. Every year, numerous festivals and events are held here, which help preserve the cultural heritage associated with this unique place. Mont Saint-Michel is not only a monument of architecture, but also a symbol of the strength of spirit and faith. Litomyšl Castle, located in southern Moravia, Czech Republic, is a striking example of Renaissance architecture and also holds a mysterious history of a drowned bride ghost. Built in the 18th century, the castle served as the summer residence of the Liechtenstein family, who owned these lands since the 13th century. The most famous event associated with the castle occurred in 1899, when a bride named Maria drowned in the lake surrounding the castle, as she was about to marry a young count. The legend says that during the wedding ceremony, Maria decided to cool off in the water, but suddenly lost her balance and fell into the lake. Her body was never found, and since then, people say that her spirit wanders around the castle, especially at night when the moon lights up the water's surface. The villagers nearby still tell stories about how the ghost of the bride appears on the lakeshore, in a white dress, with a sorrowful expression, as if looking for her groom. The castle itself is an architectural marvel with numerous rooms adorned with antique furniture and artworks, including paintings by renowned artists. Every year, tens of thousands of tourists visit the castle, many of whom hope to see the ghost of the drowned bride. Guided tours are held in the castle, where guides not only share its history, but also tell local ghost legends, adding a touch of mystery and intrigue for visitors. The castle was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1990, confirming its cultural and historical significance. The entire complex of buildings and gardens around the castle covers an area of over 100 hectares and includes a landscape park with rare tree and plant species. This territory was meticulously designed in the 18th century to create harmony between nature and architecture. The Ghost of the Bride has become an integral part of the region's cultural identity, and in her honour, annual festivals and celebrations are held, where local residents and tourists can enjoy traditional music and dance, as well as hear captivating stories about ghosts. In 1981, a museum was established in the castle, dedicated to the history of the Liechtenstein family and the cultural heritage of Moravia. The museum exhibits include old documents, family relics, and even personal items of family members, allowing a deeper understanding of the life of the aristocracy in the past. Litomyshl Castle is also known for its excellent wine, produced in local vineyards, making it a popular destination for wine enthusiasts and gastronomic tourism. In the vicinity of the castle, there are vineyards where grape varieties characteristic of the region, such as Riesling and Muscat, are grown. In recent years, interest in visiting the castle has significantly increased, and many tourists come not only for history and architecture, but also for the chance to encounter the Ghost of the Bride. In 1995, local authorities organised special night tours, during which chilling stories about ghosts and legends related to the castle are told. These events attracted media attention and became a tourist hit, contributing to the castle's growing popularity as one of the most mystical places in the Czech Republic. The castle is surrounded by a vast park with rare trees and flowers, creating a unique atmosphere for walks and meditation. The park also features a pond with swans and numerous sculptures created by famous masters. 80% of the park's territory is preserved in its natural state, making it an ideal place for birdwatching and observing other wildlife. Litomyshl Castle, with its tragic history and beautiful architecture, continues to attract visitors from around the world, becoming not only a subject of study, but also a place where history, culture, and legends intersect. Alcázar of Toledo, Spain, is not just an ancient fortress. It is a castle that has absorbed countless stories and legends. Construction of the castle began in the 1st century AD, when the Romans built a military fortification on this site. Throughout different eras, Alcázar served as a residence for various rulers, but it gained particular fame under Emperor Charles V. In the 16th century, following his coronation, the castle became a significant administrative centre and reflected the power of the Spanish Empire. The main courtyard of the castle, surrounded by massive walls, is impressive in its grandeur and architectural details characteristic of the Mannerist style of Charles V's time. However, the castle is also known for its mysterious atmosphere. There is a legend about a ghostly army that is said to guard Alcázar. It is believed to be the spirits of soldiers who died in battles when the castle was under siege. In 1936, during the Spanish Civil War, Alcázar was subjected to a brutal siege. The Republican army attempted to capture the fortress, but the defenders, led by Colonel Alfredo Sinisterra, held out for several months until they received reinforcements. This siege became a symbol of resilience and courage. After the war, the castle became a place of remembrance where the feats of the defenders were celebrated. The appearance of Alcázar changed over time. In 1952, its restoration began and continued until the end of the 1990s. Architects strove to preserve original elements such as Gothic arches and Renaissance facades while adding modern conveniences. Inside the castle, there are vast halls displaying historical artifacts, including weapons and armor used in battles. One of the most famous objects is the sword belonging to Charles V, which is said to symbolize his power. The castle also attracts tourists with its ghostly legends. Each year, guided tours are conducted in Alcázar, where the spirits of soldiers guarding the walls are discussed. Local residents claim to sometimes hear footsteps and whispers, adding to the mystique of this place. The phenomenon of the ghostly army has been the subject of research and debate. Some historians and parapsychologists try to explain the phenomena associated with the castle from a historical perspective, while others consider them part of the cultural heritage. For example, in 1986, a group of researchers conducted experiments using infrared cameras and recording equipment to capture unexplained phenomena. The results of these studies left many questions unanswered, and many believe that the castle hides deeper secrets than it initially appears. Alcázar of Toledo also serves as a backdrop for various cultural events, including exhibitions and theatrical performances, making it an important part of Spain's contemporary cultural landscape. Local authorities actively support the preservation of the castle, and in recent years, programs have been launched to engage youth in the study of history. In 1993, Alcázar was declared a historical monument, which gave new impetus to its preservation and promotion. The castle has become not only a tourist attraction, but also a symbol of Spanish history, preserving the spirit of the era of Charles V and the dark pages of the Civil War. Interestingly, among the numerous films and series made about Toledo and its historical landmarks, Alcázar often plays a central role. In the year 2000, a Spanish director shot a historical film set in this castle, which drew attention to its rich history. The architectural style of Alcázar, with its massive walls and majestic towers, has inspired many contemporary designers and architects. Surrounded by the picturesque landscapes of Toledo, the castle has also become a popular venue for weddings and photo shoots, adding modern charm to it. Alcázar of Toledo, with its rich history and mystical legends, continues to be not only an architectural masterpiece, but also a significant cultural centre that attracts the attention of historians, tourists, and adventure seekers. The height of the castle's walls reaches 30 metres, making it one of the most impressive fortifications in Spain. Hohensalzburg Castle, situated on a hill above Salzburg, Austria, was built in 1160 and is considered one of the best preserved medieval fortresses in Europe. Its majestic walls and high towers not only attract tourists, but are also shrouded in numerous legends and myths. One of the most famous stories is the tale of the Ghost Princess, who, according to the legend, died of a broken heart. The legend tells of a princess whose name has not been preserved, who was in love with a young knight who was forced to leave the castle due to his duties. Their love story ended tragically when the knight died in battle, not having returned to his beloved. In deep sorrow, the princess could not survive the loss and soon passed away, leaving behind an immense sense of longing. Since then, as local residents claim, her spirit wanders the castle, especially at night, when her soft sighs and tears can be heard, reflecting the bitterness of her loss. The castle stands at an altitude of over 700 metres above sea level, and its walls have preserved numerous secrets, including old frescoes and halls where grand banquets once took place. Tourists visiting the castle often report strange sensations and unexplained phenomena, such as cold gusts of wind and the feeling of someone's presence when they are alone in the corridors. In the 20th century, in 1988, several paranormal researchers conducted night tours here, attempting to capture evidence of the existence of ghosts. They used modern technology, including infrared cameras and EMF detectors, and reported strange anomalies in certain parts of the castle. Occasionally, they managed to capture images that they believed could be ghostly figures and record sounds that could not be explained. For example, in one of the halls, an old harp was found, said to have belonged to the princess, and visitors claimed to sometimes hear its soft melody, even when no one is playing. Apart from ghosts, the castle also has a rich history associated with the rule of the Prince Archbishops of Salzburg, who used it as a residence and military fortress. In the 16th century, the castle was significantly expanded and strengthened to protect the city from Turkish incursions. The castle's architecture includes elements of Romanesque, Gothic, and Renaissance styles, making it an interesting object of study. Today, Hohensalzburg is one of the main tourist attractions in Austria, attracting more than 1 million visitors annually, who come not only to admire the magnificent views of Salzburg, but also to learn about its historical and mystical aspects. The castle still holds many mysteries, and the ghost of the princess continues to evoke interest and admiration in those who believe in the world of the supernatural. 80 metres long and 40 metres wide, this castle has become a symbol of Salzburg, and its history continues to live in the hearts of people. Chillon Castle is located on the shores of Lake Geneva in Switzerland and is one of the most famous medieval castles in Europe. Its history dates back to the 11th century when it was built to protect a significant trade route between Italy and Germany. The castle is a magnificent example of the architecture of that time, combining elements of Romanesque and Gothic styles. In the 12th century, Chillon became the residence of the Counts of Savoy, which contributed to its strengthening and expansion. The castle was surrounded by powerful walls and had a strategically important position, controlling trade on the lake and ensuring the safety of the region. In the 16th century, Chillon gained fame through the poem The Prisoner of Chillon, written by the Scottish poet George Gordon Byron in 1800. In this poem, the fate of the Frenchman Pierre de Bérard, who was imprisoned in the castle in the 13th century, is described. The poem brought attention to the castle and contributed to its popularity as a tourist attraction. In The Prisoner of Chillon, Byron conveys the feelings of the prisoner, who suffers from loneliness and longing, creating an image of the castle as a symbol of oppression and struggle for freedom. The castle has many interesting architectural features, including its famous tower where, according to legends, prisoners were held. Inside the castle, well-preserved interiors can be found, including fireplace halls and dungeons that served as prisons. The castle has witnessed many historical events, including wars and political intrigues. In the 18th century, Chillon attracted many artists and writers who sought inspiration in its gloomy history. In the 20th century, the castle was meticulously restored and opened to the public in 1940. Today, Chillon Castle welcomes more than 300,000 visitors a year, offering tours, exhibitions, and cultural events. The castle is under the protection of the Swiss government and is part of the country's cultural heritage. Its surroundings feature a picturesque landscape that has long been a popular spot for photographers and nature lovers. The Chillon Fortress also serves as the backdrop for numerous cultural events, including music festivals and theatrical performances. There are many myths and legends associated with this place, including stories of ghosts and sunken treasures. The castle has become a symbol of Switzerland, embodying its rich history and cultural heritage. The exterior of Chillon Castle is impressive. Its massive stone walls, tall towers, and picturesque windows create a medieval atmosphere that transports visitors to another era. The castle is also a significant object for the study of medieval architecture and military history. Tourists can observe historical reconstructions and learn about life in the Middle Ages, making Chillon an important educational centre. It is interesting to note that Chillon Castle inspired not only Byron, but also many other writers and artists, including Vincent van Gogh, who painted a picture of the castle. The castle is also mentioned in literature, film, and even video games, highlighting its cultural impact. Chillon Castle continues to be a living witness to the history of Switzerland and attracts the attention of both researchers and tourists with its unique combination of architecture, nature, and legends. Fort Bhangar, located in the state of Rajasthan, India, is one of the most famous abandoned places in the country, known not only for its architectural beauty, but also for the numerous legends and myths surrounding it. Built in the 16th century by order of Raja Man Singh, Bhangar was designed as a fortress and residential complex for his family and the residents. According to local legend, the fort became the site of tragic events involving Princess Ratnavati. She was renowned for her beauty, and many princes sought to win her heart. But her heart belonged only to Raja Singh. At that time, a black magician named Singhiya also fell in love with Ratnavati. Unable to win her love, he decided to use his dark powers to achieve his goal. Singhiya created a magical potion to enchant the princess, but Ratnavati, knowing his intentions, was wiser. She tricked him, using the potion against him, which led to his death. Before his death, Singhiya cursed the fort and its inhabitants, dooming them to eternal destruction. This event marked a turning point in the history of Bhangar. After the curse, the fort began to empty, and its residents gradually left their homes. One of the main reasons why the fort became famous is its reputation as the most haunted place in India. Many tourists and researchers report strange sounds and ghostly appearances in the vicinity of the fort. Interestingly, in the 12th century, the ruler of Jhansi, who was a companion of Raja Man Singh, also tried to win Ratnavati's heart, but his attempts were unsuccessful. This adds another layer to the history, which has been enriched with myths and legends over time. In the 21st century, the Indian government banned night visits to the fort, which further fueled interest in its mystical reputation. Inside the fort, the ruins of temples and palaces remain, showcasing the grandeur and skill of Indian builders of that time. The Gopinath Temple, located within the fort, is dedicated to Lord Krishna and is considered one of the most important pilgrimage sites. The walls of the fort reach a height of 10 meters, and the fort covers an area of more than 600 hectares. Today, Bhangar attracts not only tourists, but also paranormal researchers who strive to unravel the mysteries hidden within its walls. Many scholars and historians, such as Dr. Suresh Patni, claim that the myths about the curse and ghosts in Bhangar have their roots in real historical events related to power struggles and love. This fortress serves not only as an architectural monument, but also reflects the rich history and culture of India. The fort was abandoned in the 17th century when local residents began to leave it due to constant attacks and wars. Today, Bhangar is a focus of attention for tourists and researchers, attracting them with its mystical atmosphere and architectural features. Local residents often tell stories of ghosts and strange phenomena occurring near the fort, making it not only a historical site, but also a cultural phenomenon that is discussed and written about in books and articles around the world. There are even special tours dedicated to the ghosts of Bhangar, which confirm its status as one of the most mysterious places in India. Thus, Fort Bhangar not only preserves numerous stories of love, betrayal, and death, but also remains a subject of study for both local culture and broader historical processes that occurred in India. Archaeological research continues in this area, and scientists are seeking new facts to better understand why this fort became a place where reality and myth intertwine. In 2003, the Indian government declared Bhangar a national monument, which added to its status and interest among historians and tourists. The Tower of London is not just a fortress, but a historical symbol embodying numerous dramatic events, including the fate of Anne Boleyn. In 1530, she became the second wife of Henry VIII, who, driven by the desire for a male heir, ultimately broke away from the Catholic Church to divorce his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. Anne Boleyn, who bore only one daughter, the future Queen Elizabeth I, became a victim of political intrigue and rumours surrounding her failure to produce a male heir. In 1536, she was arrested and accused of treason, incest, and witchcraft. Her trial took place in the Tower, and on May 19th of that year, Anne was beheaded on the grassy area near the White Tower. In front of soldiers and witnesses, she uttered her final words, expressing peace and forgiveness. This moment is one of the most significant and tragic in the history of the English monarchy. However, the Tower does not only hold the dark secrets of royal trials, it is also famous for its ravens, which are considered guardians of the fortress. According to an ancient legend, if the ravens leave the Tower, the British monarchy will fall. The ravens that can be seen in the fortress have names and are even treated with special care by the keepers. Currently, there are several ravens living in the Tower, the most famous of which is named Jake. These birds have a wingspan of up to 1 metre and can live up to 30 years in captivity. It is interesting to note that the ravens receive daily food consisting of meat and bread, and their plumage is regularly checked for health. Care for the ravens is not just a tradition, but a serious responsibility that has been upheld by many generations of Tower guards. The ravens are not only observers of history, but also guides to the world of legends and myths surrounding this fortress. In the Tower, one can also see many other artifacts related to the history of England, including royal regalia, swords, and armour. For example, the crown in which Queen Victoria was crowned in 1837 is one of the most valuable exhibits showcasing the wealth and power of the English monarchy. The Tower was founded in 1066 by William the Conqueror and served not only as a royal residence, but also as a prison and even a zoo. Over the centuries, it has become a place where major events have taken place, from executions to coronations. In the 16th century, the Tower was used to hold high-profile prisoners such as the Earl of Essex and Lord Rochester, whose fates became part of English drama. 800 years later, in 1930, the Tower was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, testifying to its significance not only for Britain, but for the entire world. The tower is a living historical monument that continues to attract millions of tourists each year, eager to learn about its dark secrets and magnificent architecture. An interesting fact: the tower houses more than 200,000 artifacts that span several millennia of history. Château de Chenonceau is located on the Cher River in the centre, Loire region, and is considered one of the most beautiful castles in France. Built in the 16th century, it became a symbol of the Renaissance era and is renowned for its unique architecture and picturesque gardens. The castle was founded in 1520, and its original owner, Benjamin de Chambord, built it on the site of an old bridge. However, the fame of Chenonceau is directly linked to Diane de Poitiers, the favourite of King Henry II. Diane was born in 1503 into a noble family and became famous for her beauty and intelligence. She entered the king's favour in 1538 and remained with him until his death in 1561. During Diane's time, the castle underwent significant transformations. In 1540, she commissioned the construction of a new wing, which was completed in 1542, adding Italian-style elements to the castle. This project was carried out by architect Philippe Calmette, who used white stone, giving the building a light and airy appearance. The gardens of the castle, designed in the Italian style, became objects of admiration due to their meticulously planned compositions and variety of plants. For example, the gardens contained over 150 varieties of roses and dozens of other flowering plants, creating beautiful landscapes. After Henry II's death in 1561, Diane de Poitiers was forced to leave Chenonceau. Queen Catherine de' Medici, his wife, demanded that she leave the castle, which had become a symbol of her rivalry with the favourite. At this time, the castle had already acquired special significance in high society due to its connection with the royal family. Catherine de' Medici made numerous changes to the interior and exterior, adding her own garden compositions and architectural elements. It is interesting that Catherine commissioned the construction of a second floor, which was executed in a more severe style than the work of Diane. Château de Chenonceau is also known for its history during the French revolutions. In the 18th century, it became a refuge for many fugitives and a symbol of resistance to royal power. In 1787, the castle was confiscated and turned into state property. At this time, many artistic values were sold, and the castle fell into disrepair. However, by the 1830s, its restoration began, and the castle once again attracted public attention. Today, Chenonceau is a museum where one can see original works of art and interiors that have been preserved from the times of Diane and Catherine. The castle was opened to visitors in 1930 and has since become one of the most popular tourist attractions in France, attracting more than 700,000 tourists annually. Château de Chenonceau not only reflects the elegance of the Renaissance era, but also tells the story of love and rivalry that defined the lives of the upper class in France in the 16th century. Its architectural details, such as elegant arches and decorative elements, attract the attention of architects and historians, while its gardens serve as a model of landscape design. The castle is shrouded in legends about Diane de Poitiers, who, according to the legends, still wanders through its halls, guarding her secrets and memories of the past. The preserved paintings, furniture, and household items allow visitors to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of the time when the castle served as a home for great and influential people. Bran Castle is one of the most famous castles in Romania, located on the border between Transylvania and Wallachia, near the city of Brașov. It is often referred to as Dracula's Castle due to its associations with Vlad the Impaler, who served as the prototype for Bram Stoker's famous character. Vlad the Impaler, also known as Vlad III, ruled Wallachia in the 15th century and was renowned for his cruelty, including methods such as impalement, where victims were skewered on long stakes. These methods of intimidation were used against enemies and rebels, contributing to his reputation as Dracula, which translates from Romanian as Son of the Dragon. The castle was built in the 14th century, around 1337, as a fortress to protect trade routes from invasions. Architecturally, the castle is a combination of Gothic and Renaissance styles, making it unique in the region. Strategically located on a high hill, it allowed for control over the surrounding area. Its walls are nearly 2 meters thick, and its towers reach heights of around 30 meters, creating an impressive view of the surrounding forests and mountains. In the 15th century, the castle became a significant military base for defending against Ottoman invaders, serving this purpose until the end of the 17th century, when its military importance waned. The 18th century brought transformations. The castle became a residence for the royal family, particularly Queen Maria of Romania, who oversaw renovations in the early 20th century. During this time, the castle gained many modern amenities, including electricity and plumbing, making it more comfortable for habitation. Bran Castle became a museum in 1938, opening its doors to the public and displaying collections related to Romanian history, including exhibits dedicated to Vlad the Impaler and his era. Each year, the castle attracts over 700,000 tourists eager to see the legendary Dracula's castle and immerse themselves in medieval atmosphere. Inside, visitors can see antique furniture, weapons, and unique art pieces that illustrate life in the castle during various historical periods. The castle has also become a popular filming location for movies and TV shows, further enhancing its fame. However, despite its romantic reputation, the castle has no direct historical ties to Count Dracula, as Vlad the Impaler never lived there. Nevertheless, his image has become a symbol of Romania's dark history, and Bran Castle continues to attract lovers of mystery and history. The castle is located at an elevation of around 900 meters above sea level and is surrounded by picturesque forests, making it a popular spot for walks and photography. Around the castle, there are cafes and souvenir shops where tourists can purchase items made by local craftsmen. Bran Castle, with its mysterious atmosphere and history, remains a significant cultural landmark, attracting not only tourists but also historians, researchers, and mythology enthusiasts. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the castle also served as a meeting place for notable individuals and cultural events, further solidifying its status as a significant center of regional life. The castle has become part of Romania's cultural heritage, and its role in popular culture continues to evolve, drawing attention to Romanian history and folklore. In the 12th century, the area where the castle now stands was inhabited by German Saxons who left their mark on the region's architecture and culture. Bran Castle has become not only a symbol of cruelty and fear, but also a place where myths and reality intersect, making it a unique object of study. Windsor Castle, located in Berkshire County, is one of the most famous residences of British monarchs and the oldest inhabited castle in the world. Its construction began in the 11th century when William the Conqueror decided to strengthen his position in England following the Norman conquest. In the 12th century, the castle became a royal residence and has since undergone numerous changes and expansions, including significant renovations during the reign of King Henry VIII. Henry VIII, King of England from 1508 to 1547, used the castle for hunting and relaxation, as well as the centre of his royal power. He spent much time here, hosting important guests and holding meetings with advisors. The castle was also the place where Henry VIII decided to divorce Catherine of Aragon, which ultimately led to the break with the Roman Catholic Church and the creation of the Anglican Church. At this time, Windsor Castle became not just a royal residence, but a symbol of a new religious era that shook all of Europe. Henry VIII invested significant funds in the reconstruction and improvement of the castle, making it more comfortable for living. He commissioned many works for the interior decoration, including the creation of magnificent halls and rooms that became the venue for celebrations and receptions. In particular, the Great Hall of the castle, over 30 meters long, became the center of royal banquets where the highest dignitaries of the kingdom gathered. The castle also gained fame for its extensive collection of artworks, which Henry VIII continually added, including works by masters such as Titian and Raphael. During Henry VIII's reign, Windsor Castle became the site of major historical events, such as coronations and weddings. For example, in 1536, the wedding of Henry with Anne Boleyn, one of the most famous figures in English history, took place here. This marriage was a catalyst for many political and religious changes that affected the entire country. Windsor also became a place for detentions and executions, including the fate of Anne Boleyn, who was arrested and executed in 1536. The castle continued to be an important centre of royal power even after Henry VIII's death, serving as a residence for subsequent monarchs, including Queen Elizabeth I and King Charles I. Over the centuries, the castle has undergone many changes, but its unique architecture and historical significance remain relevant to this day. Windsor has become not only the home of the British royal family, but also a popular tourist attraction, attracting millions of visitors annually. Each year, Windsor Castle welcomes more than 1 million tourists who want to see its historical halls, royal apartments, and the famous St. George's Chapel, where many monarchs, including Henry VIII, are buried. The chapel was built in the Gothic style and consecrated in 1539. It also serves as the site for royal weddings and other ceremonies. Thus, Windsor Castle remains an important symbol of British history and culture, preserving the memory of King Henry VIII and his time. The castle has become an integral part of British heritage, reflecting the complex connections between power, religion, and culture that shaped the country's history. Neuschwanstein Castle, located in Bavaria, Germany, has become a symbol of Romanticism and neo-Gothic architecture. Its construction began in 1860 at the initiative of King Ludwig II of Bavaria, known as the Mad King. Ludwig II, born in 1845, was not only a monarch but also a dreamer who sought to create an ideal world reflecting his fantasies and love for art. The castle was designed as a tribute to Richard Wagner, the composer who had a significant influence on the king. Architect Eduard von Steinle was responsible for the castle's design, which was inspired by medieval knightly castles and legends of the Swan Knight, reflecting the romantic ideals of the time. The construction of the castle took 20 years, and although it was not completed, its structure includes more than 100 rooms, each with its unique features. For example, the throne room, adorned with mosaics and golden details, has a height of around 32 meters and was intended to symbolize royal power. Neuschwanstein is also famous for its breathtaking views of the surrounding Alps, which have attracted many tourists even in its unfinished state. In 1911, the castle opened its doors to the public, and since then, more than 6 million people have visited it, making it one of the most visited castles in Europe. Ludwig II, however, did not live to see the completion of the construction, as he tragically drowned in 1886 under mysterious circumstances. His death sparked numerous rumors and conspiracy theories, adding to the enigma of his legacy. Neuschwanstein became not only an architectural masterpiece, but also a significant cultural symbol, inspiring numerous films, books, and even Disneyland, which used its image as the basis for the Sleeping Beauty castle. Interestingly, the building materials for the castle, such as limestone, were quarried from local quarries, and for decoration, skilled craftsmen from different parts of Europe were employed. The castle was designed as an ideal retreat for Ludwig II, and its location on a high hill gives it a fairy tale appearance, especially in the morning light, shrouded in mist. Wagner, who was a close friend of the king, also inspired Ludwig to create various theatres and concert halls, underscoring their friendship and shared interest in art. Neuschwanstein, despite its beauty, has become a symbol of the tragic fate of Ludwig II, who never completed his grand vision. This architectural gem continues to be a source of inspiration for artists, writers, and travellers, repeatedly drawing them into a world of dreams and stories about knights and magical castles. Currently, the castle is protected as a cultural heritage, and its influence on architecture and culture is immeasurable. Neuschwanstein represents a unique combination of history, art, and personal tragedy, making it one of the most important historical sites in Germany. Glamis Castle is located in Scotland, near the town of Forfar, and is one of the most famous historical buildings in the country. Built in the 15th century, the castle is renowned not only for its architecture, but also for the numerous legends and myths that surround it. One of the most well-known stories is the legend of the Glamis monster, said to be a hideous descendant of the Stuart family. In the 18th century, this story became particularly popular when local residents began telling tales of a mysterious creature that hid within the castle. There are several versions of this tale, but the most famous one claims that it was a child born of incest, hidden from the world to preserve the family's honour. The castle itself became a place of many mysterious events. For example, In the 16th century, various rituals and gatherings related to magic and occult sciences took place here. It is known that seances were held at Glamis Castle, and some people believed that the spirits of the dead still inhabit its walls. Perhaps the most famous owner of the castle was the Earl of Glamis, who later became known as King James VI of Scotland. He spent a significant part of his childhood here, and it was within these walls that his character and political views were formed, which later greatly influenced the history of Scotland and Britain as a whole. Glamis Castle is famous for its impressive interiors, decorated in the Renaissance and Baroque styles. Inside, you can see antique furniture, old paintings, and tapestries, some of which were created in the 16th century. The halls and chambers of the castle reflect not only the wealth, but also the complex history of Scotland. For instance, there is a table in one of the rooms where, according to legend, conspirators gathered to plan the overthrow of the crown. The castle has also inspired many writers and artists, including William Shakespeare, who may have drawn ideas for his play Macbeth from the stories of Glamis. Glamis Castle was not only a residence, but also a defensive structure that was besieged several times. In the 16th century, it was attacked by troops loyal to Queen Mary Stuart, highlighting its importance as a strategic point. Additionally, the castle served as a home for many noble families, each of whom left their mark on its history. Over the centuries, weddings, feasts, and numerous other celebrations took place here, shaping the cultural life of the region. The castle is open to tourists, offering tours where visitors can learn not only about its architecture, but also about the many legends that surround this place. Many visitors report strange sensations in the castle, which only adds to its mystical reputation. In the 12th century, the castle became part of Scotland's heritage and was recognised as one of the most beautiful castles in the country. In the 18th century, it underwent significant reconstruction, resulting in its current appearance while preserving elements of the original structure. Interestingly, the castle has become a symbol of Scottish culture and has inspired many modern artists and writers. Legends such as the Glamis Monster have shaped its image in popular culture, and today it is frequently mentioned in various works of art. Glamis Castle remains an important part of Scotland's historical heritage and living cultural tradition. Facts about the castle, its architecture, and legends continue to attract the attention of both local residents and tourists from around the world. The height of the castle's towers reaches 30 metres, and its area, covering several hectares, includes the castle itself and the surrounding lands, including well-maintained gardens and parks. Glamis Castle is considered one of the most visited historical sites in Scotland, attracting more than 100,000 tourists each year.